Bam, we are live. What's happening out there? Good morning, Ward Wrestling, Florida Wrestling, everybody in wrestling, Orlando Sentinel Wrestling. What's
Yes.
happening?
Well, I guess in retrospect, I stole it from Shannon without knowing it, but he has always called this the most wonderful time of the year. I have put on my Blackhawks Griswold jersey to celebrate the season. It is the best time of the year, and it's started. We already have one district in the books. We have 9 more tomorrow. One that starts tonight that takes place over 4 days. And then by the weekend, we will have 48 districts having competed. And on Sunday morning, we'll find out what the regions look like.
Yeah, and then I saw that you had posted that one already happened, and then
Yes.
you had mentioned that something happened there where there was like some, was it one weight class only had 2 qualifiers or something?
Yes.
What happened there?
In case anybody, and I'm surprised that people are still figuring this out, and that's great. It was announced ahead of the season, maybe even in the summertime, but they are filling buys at the region level. So if you'll notice that at your district when you're there, they will be wrestling to 5th or 6th place. If you have 6 wrestlers in a weight class, that bout does not count for team scores. But the reason you're wrestling until 5th up to 5th, 6th place is anywhere that does not advance a wrestler to the regions. And as everybody knows, top 4 in districts advance to region tournament. If you have in the past, obviously, if you don't have a 3rd or 4th place, or if you don't have a 4th place in your district, that becomes a bye at the next level. So a district champ shows up next weekend and gets a bye to start. There have been some years I can remember some regions where you have like 7, 8 buys in like the first round. And so to kind of get rid of that, what they have instituted is, and I don't know how they pick them, but so we'll use yesterday as an example. 2A1 took place at Gulf Breeze. Congratulations to Fort Walton Beach for winning that one. A really tight contested district over Gulf Breeze and Pace. Only 14 and a half points separated the top 3 spots. But at 195, they only had 2 wrestlers compete. So 3rd place and 4th place at 195, they have nobody advancing. In the past, that would have been a bye. So whatever district lines up with District 1 at that weight class, their wrestlers would have a bye at both the champ and as the runner-up. This year, they will now, out of districts 2A2, 2A3, 2A4, will have a pool of wrestlers that finished 5th and 6th at 195 pounds, and those will fill the buys. And so there'll be no straight up buys at the region tournament. If someone is injured, if someone doesn't make weight, if someone is pulled for any other reason, they will not be replaced. So scratches will not be replaced, but buys will be replaced. We'll find out Sunday when region brackets go live who the 5th and 6th place wrestlers took those spots. And so we'll have in theory, we'll have full brackets then for the start of the regions. There'll be no buys if they can help it. Nice. I hope I explained that. I know it's kind of convoluted. And again, I don't know what order they're going in. I know there is an order, or I don't know if it's random, but how they'll fill those spots. But they will not tell anybody what that is until the brackets come out, like who's filling what.
Nice. Speaking of that, I mean, I see here that Coach Daniel Walker has lost another golf match to one of his wrestlers. That's like 2 weeks or 3 weeks in a row here.
He's the gift that keeps on giving. I don't golf, but I want to take it up just so I can get a W.
It sounds like Walker. If you just golf against him,
I gotta find the old club somewhere and go out with him just so I can get. No, that's funny.
Just look up Coach Abden and he'll get you on the links with Coach Walker. And
I actually can't golf. I have a handicap. I get mad way too easily. And if they ever drain the pond at the 7th hole at the Biltmore in Coral Gables, you'll probably find my pitching wedge in there.
I got, first of all, I know we have all these districts coming up, and I know we'll talk about it a little bit, but we do have a state tournament coming up. this weekend.
Yeah, girls state
The girls
tournament
state
Friday,
championship is
Saturday.
coming up. I've seen a lot of girls out. What's up, Nate Solario? I've seen a lot of girls out practicing. If anybody doesn't know, I know CFWA posted it, but every night they're doing a state prep clinic. It's $10 to get in for non-members. Get out there. Palazzo and his coaching staff and other coaches are really teaching some really great technique there and stuff to get you ready for states. But speaking of that, there's been a lot of girls in the room getting themselves ready. I've also seen a lot of girls. I know Steve Hall and keeps posting photos from the weekends where the girls are up there training with him as well. Uh, what do we have to look forward to there? I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a real deep. I mean, last year they had 365 girls. I think we'll see more this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see some of the lineups because of COVID and scheduling and everything else. It is falling on the days of, let me just get a quick count here for you, 32 districts taking place.
Between Friday and Saturday.
On Friday and Saturday, there may be some girls who are competing in those districts that can't make it. I haven't done the math and figured out, which schools. I know some districts have moved their districts up to Wednesday and Thursday specifically, so their wrestlers can compete both, in the districts and in the girls' state. But I mean, you get to go to Osceola and wrestle. We know what kind of tournament they put on there, and it's the last one until everything is completely official next year. And I'm looking forward to that. Everybody's on the same page and everybody follows the same protocols or whatever, whatever various rules, that'll be in place for that. But I think it'll be a real special tournament to have the chance to compete, at the girls' state one last time before it is part of, the big umbrella next year. And you get to do it at Osceola, and there'll be some great matches because you're gonna have some top wrestlers there. There may be a couple that don't because they want to compete in the FHSA district that takes place Friday or Saturday. But I think for the most part, you're going to see the best girls in the state competing out there, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I wish that I could make it, but as you know, my son's district is going on up in Villages, so cross my fingers that he can get through that. But what would you say? I know that probably when you talk matchups, probably regions are where we start seeing some of the good matchups. But is there a district out there that you would say, wow, that's a district you want to go see, you want to go watch those matchups?
3A16. I mean, everybody would love to see that. I mean, that's you have South Dade, multiple consecutive state champs, multiple state champs overall. You have Southwest Miami, who won the GMAC just a couple weeks ago. But then you also have Columbus there. You have Palmetto there. You have
Coral Gables.
Coral Gables has a couple good wrestlers. Coral Reef has a couple good wrestlers. It is the deepest district that is out there, and probably the team that wins the state title in 3A probably comes from 3A16, and you have two to choose from. I'll be curious to see, now that we're in the district / region / state, team scores differ than what they would do for the GMAX. I'm curious how Southwest Miami scores with South Dade, both this weekend and, obviously next weekend. But that is one definitely to watch. There's a few districts that I think are interesting to see who wins. 2A5 with Harmony and Winter Springs both at it. Winter Springs ended up winning the district duels. Harmony is a deep team. Winter Springs is a young team with guys really clicking and coming together. That one sticks out to me. There's so many good districts. I mean, yesterday, just 2A1, you didn't know which team was going to win it. You had Fort Walton Beach sent 12, advanced 11. I think Gulf Breeze and Pace both advanced 9 or 10, to regions, and it really came down to, how they won their third place match or their first place match. And there'll be some districts like that out there. There'll be some districts that won't be like, there'll be some districts that, a team runs away with it. But each weight class, I think, has some unique battles. And I started to put together, I wanted to put together a piece like, these are the district matches that we hope happen, but there were just so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the article this morning down south in the Herald?
I have not. I've
Well, my dad, I've told you before, my dad's down there. So any good articles he sends me, and there's a great article in there about the competition between Southwest and South Dade, and I mean you could see the
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I spend my morning getting 5 kids to school, and I barely make it to here on time.
is that it?
Um,
It says Southwest South Dade set to renew rivalry at districts. It's a good
Yep.
article. So if anybody out there, Googly Amini wants to play golf, he just posted on there. Hey, I got it right now. If anybody wants to help me out, we can do a Ward Wrestling Live golf.
If you make it putt-putt, I'll be there.
We'll do a golf foundation event, and we'll pick a foundation that the money goes to, and we'll have a big Ward Wrestling Live tournament. Everybody hit me up. Let's get it going. We'll get sponsors. We'll get everybody in there after the state tournament. We'll have Orlando Sentinel there. We'll have everybody else there, and the money can go to whatever foundation we decide. Right? How's that? We'll do that.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Speaking of Walker, I mean, Lake Gibson has kind of set itself apart in 2A6, but they still have some competition there too. That's one I always like to see how Brandon, we haven't not seen Brandon against a lot of the top teams in the state. We'll get kind of a feel for where they are, at 2A6 before the region of doom of 2A2, which is just insane at how tough that one is. But I always pay attention to 2A6 and see how those stack up. And Lake Gibson won the state duels. They did not win their own IBT. Palmetto Ridge won that. Charlotte is loaded, and Jesuit has a bunch of guys that are going to be competing for the top of the podium. There are some. I think 2A is always close, but I think 2A is going to be interesting, and I think that's what you kind of watch too this weekend is where guys go through and how they do in the districts. Lake Gibson is going to win their district, but where do some of their guys are going to win, but where do some of the second tier, do they win the district? Do they finish second? Do they finish third? How that's going to set up for them, because when you're in a region of doom like 2A2, you could finish second and have a really hard first round region match. And so curious to watch across those districts and see where some of the not the guys that are going to win their districts, but how the competitive weight classes and where the guys come out and where they kind of set themselves up for the next weekend, I think is interesting to watch as district results come in this weekend.
Are there any kids out there, and I know you hate to do this, but let's see if you want to, not in your rankings, none of these kids are ranked. Is there any kids out there that you've been watching and you've been seeing close that you could say, hey, this is somebody not in the rankings that I could see making a run to states?
I mean, there's probably a lot. One that stands out, and his dad even contacted me, and unfortunately, I don't know enough about who he's wrestled. James Gonzalez at Winter Park. He's a freshman. The coaches have been very high on him, but I only have a handful of notes on him. But of course, his older brother is Joe Gonzalez and a state finalist 2 seasons ago, and
we know who he is.
ranked number 1 heading into this year. He probably should be ranked. He probably should be ranked higher. I have him right on the edge just because I haven't received a lot of stuff from Winter Park except for their coaches. And listen, coaches always talk up their guys. I have a lot of coaches that contact me often and talk up their guys, and I listen to every one of them. So if I had to pick a guy that's probably going to really prove me wrong and do really well, I would guess it's going to be him out of Winter Park in 1A4. I mean, there's a lot. There's going to be folks that are going to prove me wrong.
A Goog says 3A8 is deep.
Yeah, that's always a deep. That's always a deep district, and again, that's where it gets interesting. Even some of the weight classes where the kid's going to win, it's interesting to watch the 2s and the 3s, and sometimes even the 4 and 5, just to see who advances. Because there are some, I've taken not heat, but people that were used to rankings being done a certain way, and would only have like four kids ranked per region. And I have always been like, I'm just ranking the top kids, no matter what. I don't want to just have four from a certain region in my rankings. It's not that the other way was wrong. It's just the way that I do it. But in some of those districts, I have four kids ranked in the top 20, or maybe five kids ranked in the top 20 in a single district. And they're all going to be battling this weekend. There's a handful of those out there. I haven't counted them all up. But there are some that there's going to be really good wrestlers battling to advance. And sometimes it's just a single weight class, and sometimes it's the entire, weekend at that district. But there's some good ones out there. And it's always interesting to see. I've already plugged in all of 2A1 from yesterday and saw which ones I got right and which ones, I was a tad bit off, but nothing overly shocking yet, but there'll be some shockers out there this weekend. There'll be some kids, at regions that advance that I may not have there and such, but it's fun. And you and I talked about this offline. We're just talking about your son and how he's wrestling. And I've talked to some coaches, and they have kids that are really talented, and they just can't get the head straight, and how key that is. And if their head is on, they're a region qualifier, they're a state qualifier, they're that good. But sometimes the head's not on. And so you might have some of those battles, but you also have kids that may have not, wrestled at that level yet, but their heads are on and they've been doing the work, and then they'll show up this weekend and it'll click, and you'll have that happen too, which is always fun to see. Just kids that finally get it. They've been grinding, and it's not clicking, and then the lights turn on, and it's there, and it's not a lot, but there will be some kids out there that it'll just click in this weekend, and they'll start, a long journey for them over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, Goog says the cream will rise to the top. The rankings that matter is on March 6th. Gotta.
Yep. I always say that. My rankings are useless, but
and that's what
they're fun.
I think my son is getting better. Last year he made it through districts. We'll see what happens this year. I'm his dad, so I hope he does, right? But I think that's what needs to click on him, is his belief. And I think once he really, really believes in himself and starts to believe in himself, I think he'll start to see more wins, bigger wins, better wins. Yeah.
And I'll be honest. I will be honest. I've had coaches tell me this. Sometimes my rankings are bad this time of year because some kids actually do look at them, and I apologize. But I've had coaches tell me, yeah, my kid saw his ranking and thought he was better than this other kid, and he lost. So he's not allowed to look at your rankings anymore. That there is some of that out there where kids get intimidated by, I know they get intimidated by the name on the front of the jersey. I've seen that throughout. You go into a match and the kid's wearing a South Dade singlet. It doesn't matter who it is. You're instantly that just ups.
I completely get it. I watched 2 weekends in a row. My son had 4 losses. He went, 4. He went 7-4, and the 4 losses, 3 of them were to Lake Gibson kids.
Yeah. So there's some of that. Yeah.
I think 2 of them rightfully beat him, whether he saw the LG or not. He just isn't at their level yet. One of them he lost to because he's an idiot. He tries.
But there's it's out there
winning, though, and he's winning. All he has to do is sprawl and push the head. He tries some stupid hook arm thing, and the kid grabs him and pins him with 20 seconds left. So
yeah,
he likes when I remind him of that one. He tells me, "Can we not talk about that again, guys, please, at home?"
But there is that out there. There are kids that do look at my rankings or the other rankings that are out there, and maybe get a preconceived idea of how a match should go, and psych themselves out that way. And then there are some who use things like that, and either be it rankings or be it name on the jersey, and use that to motivate themselves. And they want to go out, and they wrestle better because they're not where they want to be. I always have to remind myself, we're talking about high school kids, and while these high school kids are like, as Gook said, these are like cream of the crop high school kids too. They're they achieve on the mat. Most of them achieve in the classroom and achieve outside of the sport and everything. And sometimes you forget. And I'm learning. I have a rising high schooler here. Hopefully, he can get through 8th grade. But sometimes in my position and even probably in the position of fans and people who follow, you forget that these are kids, and sometimes that creeps in, even though these are by all accounts remarkable and extraordinary kids. Sometimes they are kids, and so there is some mental stuff that plays into this, and that plays into these weekends.
Right? Yeah, we see it every week. Every week we see in your rankings and around the state, we see if you have 20 ranked, we always see a kid in the bottom 10 beat a kid in the top 10. It happens probably once every weekend. I mean,
at least. And you have kids that come out of nowhere and beat a bunch of kids at the top, or in the top 10. That kind of stuff happens. It's just this week, there's kind of like that added, this is it all matters now. Right. And it's you see how different kids handle it. You see how different programs handle it. There are some programs that just they know how to get kids mentally ready for this week, and you'll see that. I always say South Dade always has a kid win a state title that I didn't pick, because they always bring it out of somebody else. You're going to see a kid from Lake Gibson. You're going to see a kid, from Somerset. You're going to see kids from all these programs from Charlotte. They're going to do higher than you expected them to, because programs have a way of raising them up, and that also plays into everything this over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen some programs. I think Palm Harbor has some kids that we need to keep an eye on, right?
Yeah, they got absolutely. They're. I'm curious to see how they
Goog,
are going
over at Manatee with Goog. I mean, he's got some studs down there, right?
He does. He's got some kids
that we know the Lake Gibsons and the Tampa Jesuits and the Brandons and the South Dades, right? But we get to the end of this. Is it chalk? Do the teams that have been won all year win these regions, or is there a team out there that you would say knocks off a 1A? Well, we don't know who the 1A we don't know who's gonna. The 1A was
the 1A favorite is Somerset, and I think Palm Bay is favored for 2 there. American Heritage and Delray Beach will do well because they'll have a lot of podium kids. I mean that's what.
As far as 2A and 3A, is it Lake Gibson and South Dade? Do we see Southwest Palmetto Ridge?
I think 2A is as close a battle as it's been since it was just a handful of points between Lake Gibson and Brandon a few years back. I think, and I'm not Lou Holtzen, Danny Lou Holtz Walker, where he's it's always close. I think 2A is going to be tight. I think Lake Gibson is a younger team, and you have these other teams these other programs that have just been building it up, and much to why Somerset is the favorite at 1A is it's having champions goes a long way, and that's why Charlotte is in the mix, because Charlotte is going to have kids that are going to be in the finals. Tampa Jesuit is going to have kids that are going to be in the finals. They're going to have state champions, and that can go a long way. I think back to when Vic Lorenzano was at St. Cloud and he won a state title without a state champ, and that would never happen, nowadays. That was a long time back. It's a whole other world now. You have to have state champs.
And I think Walker's been the first person to come out and say, "Hey, we're young this year. We're building."
Yeah, and so I would not, but I also would not count them out, and so that's why I look at 2A as interesting, and 3A you would think South Dade, but Southwest Miami just beat them, in the GMAX, and again, and that as it grows, and how tournaments become, and anybody, I'm not speaking anything that anybody watching this doesn't realize, but when you get to the state tournament, just the level of how you get points is tougher because it's a deeper tournament. It's a completely different team tournament than regions and districts, just because of how many more talented kids you have there. So we may not even have a feel for Southwest Miami and South Dade until we're in Kissimmee. Southwest Miami could win districts, South Dade could win regions, or vice versa, or they both could sweep one of them and still not really have an idea maybe who's going to win the state title. Again, I'd put it on South Dade because I never count South Dade out in everything. in anything in this at this level, but Southwest Miami is right there. And then you have the Manatees, because when you get to the state tournament, then the Manatees come in, then the Fleming Islands come in, then the Riverdales come in, then the Kissimmee Osceolas, who have
Harbor, right?
Yeah, Osceola has a ton of kids that are ranked number 1 or number 2. Palm Harbor has a ton of good kids, and when you throw all of them into the mix, that's what makes the state title race interesting in 3A, because you're going to have a bunch of champs from those schools, and that's going to take points in some weight classes, from the other. So 3A, I think we have an idea who the 2 favorites are, but there are a lot of teams that are going to rack up some serious points with champions there. And it starts this weekend as guys start setting themselves up for that.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to watch.
And there'll be a weight class change that'll shock me this weekend. This week at some point, I'll be like, wow, I did not expect him to go that weight. Because there are some that are playing their cards tight to the vest, and they'll pop a kid in at a weight that I didn't have him ranked at. Like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. It always happens. That'll happen this week.
Well, I'm excited to see the run, to see what happens. I'm excited to see, if my son has made progress and see what he does at his district tournament. Fingers crossed. I'm always like real nervous. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see how that district tournament goes now without the Lake Highland prep there, which, obviously I'm sure, we all miss seeing those kids out there competing because, they're not fun to watch at districts because they just
I don't know that they've lost a district match in the last 2 or 3 years.
When they get to crunch time and to watch, to see a Palazzo or a Walker or a Blasucci or Coach B or Basile or to see the strategies and see what they do and see how their kids come in at different weights and see where they play their cards and chess, and it's always fun to see those guys.
And that card gets played this week because you can't switch after this week. So some of them are going to be making that blind because they're competing ahead of, some of the other weight classes, some of the other districts. But yeah, it's always fun to see where they think there might be a path.
Yeah. Goog says we have to get some extra guys through to help the studs. And we have a couple guys who are not ranked, and we have beat guys that are. You both do a great job for our sport. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Goog, man. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to get with you next Thursday and see the results and see what happens and see who you have. And then I always like when you come out, you always have at the bottom of each region, like your sleeper picks.
Yeah.
Like I remember last year, we had a kid, Jacob Forbes, and you didn't have him pick to place, but you had him as one of your sleepers to watch, and he ended up making a run, qualified for state, and became the first state placer for the first academy, which was fun to watch. And a great kid, great family, so we were very happy for him.
And if anybody is new to this or new to me, actually I had a couple notes, and I think some of them were in jest, but people asked me if I was predicting all previews for all 48 districts, and I don't do that. But I do write up for regions, all 12 regions in the state. I don't like making predictions, but I know that people are intrigued by that, so I do make predictions. I will write it with all sorts of caveats. I hope you prove me wrong, or if you prove me right, it doesn't matter. It's for entertainment purposes only. But I will break down every weight class in every region across the state, all 12 regions. That's why we're moving our show next week to Thursday, because the brackets come out Sunday at noon, and we have 20 districts taking place on Saturday and 12 districts taking place on Friday at the moment. There's still some kind of influx.
And a girls' state championship.
But I need to get those 32 districts up in a timely manner, all the results, and then the regions come out, and then I need to update my rankings, and then I need to make the prediction. So basically from noon on Sunday until probably we do our show Thursday morning, I'm just, plugging numbers and updating rankings and then writing a preview for every single weight class. I do pick my 4 state finalists. I do pick 2 dark horses. I do pick a match to watch, and then try to explain my picks in each one.
It's awesome because I always look. Because let's be real. If there's 12 regions, right? Four 4 from each region make it, right?
Yep.
So what's how many kids for 1A make states?
I mean, we have 14 times 4. I didn't realize you're going to make me do math today.
But no, so what's 4 and 4 is 36, so 76 kids roughly from 1A, 2A, 3A each.
56 kids from each region. So then
56 from each region. So and let's I mean we could probably
224,
pick
672 state qualifiers. I will pick probably 78% of them correctly.
how many state qualifiers?
672.
And I mean we could probably pick 20% of those right now, right? Like we know
I would say 50%. I could probably name right.
right. So
but I will. My picks usually score between 70 and 80%.
Yeah. So everybody's battling for those other ones. But by the way, I didn't even realize this, and I'm looking right now. We've got the Competitive Edge Florida Youth State Tournament on Saturday as well. So all the youth kids out there competing in youth states over in San Juan del Rio Catholic Church Gymnasium in Fruit Cove, Florida. So good luck to them, all the young kids out there. I know some of the kids just from going to the IOF and getting to know some of them, but good luck to all those youth kids. So, I mean, if you want to watch wrestling this weekend, there is plenty to watch, right?
I mean, it's going on. There's district competition every night this week. Tonight, there's only a few weight classes tonight because of Hillsborough's rules. District 386 is actually taking place over 4 nights. With a handful of weight classes each day. It begins tonight with the lower weights, and then so today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday they will finally finish with the upper weight. So 3A6 is taking 4 days to compete their districts, but then tomorrow you have a full calendar. Like I said, 9 districts on Wednesday, 5 on Thursday. As of right now, 12 on Friday, I think, and 20 on Saturday.
Wow,
and it's a lot.
That's great. I mean. So Saturday you've got 20 districts,
20 districts, girls states,
finals, and you've got the Competitive Edge Youth Florida states. I just saw that when I scrolled down. So you've got, I mean, wow, a lot of kids wrestling this weekend, huh?
Yeah, I basically just will hold myself up at this spot I'm in right now. If I will probably be here for the next 2.5 weeks. Just
how many espressos?
I don't drink caffeine. I hate caffeine.
Oh.
I do all of this with no caffeine. I haven't had caffeine since 1996.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, I'm probably the only person in the journalism business that doesn't drink caffeine.
Oh, and Nick and Addie Baldy just said Southeastern University has the NAIA conference tournament at home on Saturday. So
yes, that's true. That's going on also. I mean, it's crazy. It's a weekend.
Wow. Addie, who will we see at that tournament? Who's in their conference? I'm guessing Life U, St. Thomas, Kaiser, Southeastern. Who comes down to that? That would be fun to watch. Keep an eye on. And I've been having the Atlanta Fighting Championships. I don't know if you've seen that. I've had them on here because one of our local coaches over at CFWA, Donnie Simpson, will be fighting that night in Alabama, February 20th. He's on the card. I'll have him on Wednesday, but I've got another lineup tonight on. But if you want to see one of our local coaches, Donnie Simpson, in the cage, he'll be in the cage Friday night, Alabama Fighting Championships. There's a link on World Wrestling Live on how to watch that. And I know we're Florida, that's Alabama, but we have a Florida guy that's in the fight. So let's support him.
The NAIA at Southeast is Bruton Parker, Kaiser, Life, Southeastern, and St. Thomas.
Oh man, well, hey, good luck to all those schools there. I've witnessed Southeastern and Life go at it before. I'd like to see that happen again. I know they're both healthy. They're both at full strength, I believe. So it'll be fun to watch. And obviously St. Thomas and Kaiser are growing. And who's the other one?
Closed it. Bruton Parker.
Bruton Parker. And yeah, Bruton Parker's got a great young team. And I've been following a lot of that NAIA stuff. So good luck to everybody out there. Yeah, Bruton Parker, Kaiser, Life, St. Thomas University. So good luck to all those competing. And if you want to see a lot of Florida kids wrestling at the college level, all those programs are filled with Florida kids. So and Georgia kids. So you'll get to see a lot of our Southeast competing there, and that'll be fun.
And
But
good news for me, Daytona 500 got in, and they got in the rain. UCF has hired a football coach, so I am hoping
Gus Malzahn, right?
I should knock on wood, but I should be able to focus most of my energies for the next 2.5 weeks.
Gus Malzahn's a good hire, I think.
It is. It's a great hire.
I think that's a great hire.
You got a guy that all he does is win. He's only had winning records at Auburn. Auburn's a fickle fan base. I can say that because one of my best friends went there. It's a really good hire for UCF.
I got a question too. I saw pictures of Daytona 500. You were obviously involved.
I was not there. I was working at my desk, but yes.
But it looked like it was. I mean, at least in the main stands, it looked like the back stands and pictures I saw were a little empty. But the back stands usually have the suites. Most people are in the suites and they come down and sit and they sprinkle in. But in the front stands there, the big stands, it looked pretty full.
Yeah, I honestly didn't pay much attention to the crowd. I was curious how many people stuck around. It was a really long day. Thank God I didn't have to go out to the track. You had a 5-hour rain delay. The race.
Have you heard attendance numbers?
I have not. I am not a NASCAR person. It is the only NASCAR thing I ever pay attention to because my job requires me. Is Daytona races at Daytona. I spent most of the race working on wrestling. But yeah, that was a really long day. And the race was supposed to be over about 6:30. It ended at like 12:30 in the morning. Oh. And they didn't even finish. I don't know if NASCAR people are out there, but like they're on the last lap and someone got in a wreck and they're like, all right, we're just going to finish it right here.
They were over it, right?
Why couldn't we do this at like 3:00? If we're just going to call the race early, let's just call it at 3, and then I don't have to put in a 12-hour workday. But yeah,
Miguel Dominguez is asking, is there any news on how attendance will work for state wrestling?
I have not heard. In fact, it's on my list today to contact Rick Tribbett and try to get a story together.
Speaking of that,
on what
can you send Rick Tribbett my cell phone number and tell him to contact me so we can set up a show?
Yeah, I will do that. But I'm in the process of trying to. I took yesterday off. I went and got ourselves, my family, a dog. But today,
nice.
I'm going to get in contact with Rick and see where they are on planning and start building up. I don't know what it looks like yet. I don't know what the schedule looks like yet.
Yeah, because I'd love to just jump on one.
Yeah, he wants to come on and talk. He and I
why
chatted.
Don't we?
I'll tell him to contact. When I talk to him today, I'll tell him to contact you.
Yeah, let's just set it up. You've got my cell phone number, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm sure I do.
All right. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, because I'd love to have him on because he'll let everybody know. So anyway, Miguel, to be continued. We will try to get Rick Tribbett on the show.
Yes, I follow the spot. Also, once I get a chance to talk to him, I will have a story at OrlandoSentinel.com/wrestling on what the state tournament is going to look like and schedule and fans and protocols and all those things. Because I don't know. I don't even know if it's finalized yet, but I know he had been working on it. So I'm going to try and contact him today, find out more information on that.
Nice. Excellent. So we'll get you that information, Miguel. Anyway, everybody out there, 32 districts Friday and Saturday. There's a total of 48 districts that are happening. Well, one already happened.
47 to go.
I wish all those. Yes, I hope you have one too, Mr. Dominguez. You've got 2 fantastic children, or at least one, both of them, all your children. Right? 2, right? Don't you have 2? But anyway, good luck to all those kids out there. It's always fun to watch. Last year was the first year I got to go to the regional tournament in our area because my son had passed it, and I never realized how hard it is to make the state tournament.
Yeah.
Because if you're on the championship side, you win a couple, you're in, whatever, right? But then you get moved to
just win a couple.
No, but it's on that side you only have to win like 2 or something. But
you lose
and you get moved to consolation.
It's a long journey.
Packs,
Yeah.
I mean, it is an all day grind. I remember watching
It is
and
a
just to see,
heartbreaking grind. The Saturday at Regions always breaks my heart.
yes, watching the blood round and watching that. Yeah, I think I was, as a parent, I think I was sad for kids I probably didn't even know. I was just watching the emotional outbreak of everything. But yeah, it was tough. But anyway, good luck, man. I wish you all the best out there. This
Yes.
is when it counts. I hope if you got a dog in the fight, I hope he or she wins and advances. Um,
I
so
always
keep,
say that I wish everybody to be healthy and for it to be fair. And I know there'll be people who'll be like, oh, it's not fair. But I just want every kid to be able to compete at their best. And if you can do that, then you're a winner already. And best of luck to everybody out there, and stay injury free, and best of luck.
yeah, nothing worse than to see like a senior get disqualified for something silly or some move that he didn't mean to do. It just happened, or get injured, and it's his senior year, and
Yep.
it's an opportunity. Stay healthy out there, guys, and do your best. And you know what? Um,
And come to orlandosentinel.com/wrestling for all the results.
yes, and keep your head up. Uh, win or lose, keep your head up, and it's not the end of the world. And live to fight another day, right?
Yep.
All right, everybody out there, good luck and wrestle hard, and good luck to all the coaches and all the wrestling families out there. Enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend. Peace.